Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out, let people know I've gone live. And if you've never met me before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And if you've been hanging out with me as of late, oh my goodness, it has been an inside, hasn't it? And the only thing that has kept me grounded in truth has been the outside, even if it's just for a short 5-minute walk. And I haven't even been out of the house today, and I'm saying that. But I recognize the difference, right? I'm getting things done, but I'm using in this moment nature, the reward of nature, as the stick with the bag at the end, right? We get this done. I'm in the process of editing a video, and I am not technically inclined. I am not having fun doing it, though I'm doing my very best at making sure I'm comfortable in the process and I don't feel the pressure and the frustration. And when I do, I get up and I do a different project, something else in my life that needs to get done, whether it's an email, whether it's a couple of loads of laundry like I did today, in those small little household projects, like what you've got to do to take care of your animals, right? Changing the cat litter and sweeping things up. And, I'm sitting here right now quite content with what I've got accomplished in what I set out to do in editing the video. I gave myself 2 full days of getting it done and 1 day of getting it set up. And I'm 3/4 almost of the way done, and I still have tomorrow to work on it. So I was thinking, if tonight, if I could accomplish getting it at the very least roughly set up, it's pretty well set up. But I think, even if I can get all the clips just in there roughly, that tomorrow I could just spend the day beautifying my video. If you don't know, I'm just coming off of a trip that I do every year. Hello, Eugene. I'm doing good tonight. Thank you. I appreciate that you did that. I do appreciate that. I'm just coming off of a holiday that I take every year. And it truly is a holiday, but there is so many other aspects of that trip that I do in September that serves me, and I think in the whole process gives me an opportunity to get a little bit better in what I do, so that I have something better to offer, something else to bring across the table. But it is heavy, and I don't want to be pulled into it so much that it takes away the joy in my life, right? I get one shot. Cindy's not coming back, right? Maybe those other parts of me are, but Cindy is not coming back. And I do not want to be tied to my chair. I don't want to be a part of the technology, if you know what I mean. I don't want to be plugged into all of this, but I want to share all of this, right? I want to offer this up as my bit of contribution. If nothing else, you guys tried absolutely everything. They're just said, oh, finally, all we got is Cindy's ideas. Let's check into it, and maybe something will come across your path, something that you never noticed, something you didn't pay attention to, that would make a little bit of a difference in your life or a whole community's life, or right, possibly for the whole world, in just changing one silly way that we got ourselves kinked in, right? And just a jog of a thought that would give something a different a different chance or a chance, right? Because it's come across our paths consistently, maybe forever, and we never paid it no mind. And then in that one moment, which was just the perfect moment, that perfect key in the keyhole, right? And it opens up something. And if I didn't come here and share some of my silly ideas, if a lot of amazing souls, a lot of amazing people, a lot of amazing leader in whatever category that they're in, and they're sharing their experiences in that, right? Yeah, that's pretty amazing. There's a lot of chances out there to make movement. A lot of that movement actually being taking happening in the world is just people taking the opportunity, exactly that. Whereas somebody who had that thought just didn't have it in them to present it themselves, but they found a way, just like Cindy did, and just showing up, right? That this is YouTube. This is going to be here forever. And like I said, if nothing else works out, right? You never know. It is in there sharing of ideas, and it's looking at different perspectives and not being so tightwad like we are with money sometimes. Just tightwad with our ideas and not let anything in. And we are very walled up, right? But there's so many different walls. They can't all stand. And when they can't, and I believe it's majority rules, that there'll be an opportunity in the missteps and in the evidence that comes to the surface that we'll get an opportunity to make a different choice. And I think that's gonna happen. And it could be just the smallest idea becomes the most important thing in mankind's movement. Is that an episode of Star Trek? Pretty funny. Okay, you guys, I have been at editing video all day. So what we're going to do today is we're going to just grab a card, going to go into it for a few minutes, a half hour, however long it takes, right? These are just 54 powerful words, but at any moment in our life, that word can be relevant. That word can be the most important aspect of your life for that day, for that moment, maybe for your lifetime, right? We make those changes and those choices in our life that flip our lives upside down. And sometimes we look at those changes and go, oh my goodness, a second chance, right? And sometimes we look at that change and go, oh God, not again, right? And sometimes we look at it and we're going, oh, right? Didn't we have this lesson before? Didn't we have this experience before? Didn't I learn the first time? And then go, what was I not paying attention to in that experience, right? And really take a look at it when it's fresh. And it's an opportunity to sometimes make a different choice. And right, it feels good. It feels like accomplishment. It feels like something that you should be congratulated about. It's something that you're looking around to see if anybody's clapping for you or even noticed what you had done. And sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader, your own congratulator in that. Okay, we're trailing off. Let's just grab a card, you guys. Thank you, Eugene, for coming into my podcast tonight. For anybody else who pops in later, put your feet up. It's usually, you know, I come in and I watch my lives too. I haven't in the past couple of days because I have been, right. I feel I've been a little bit punch drunk by well, the tangled wires, right? The things that I can't let go of, the things that I stress about, worry about, get triggered in. Sometimes it's in my disconnect where I think, oh, you should be worried about this or you should be stressed out about this. And I'm just la di da di da di da. Right? So for me, it's just paying attention to all of that, and like there's lesson in that. Lessons I probably right I could prefer to have that shut down, but at the same time, right? We all have ways that we move in order to stay comfortable, right? It's like us dragging our favorite blanket around, right? Try and take that from us. It'd be one hell of a tug of war with that blanket, and God forbid you should throw it in the washing machine. Okay, okay, okay. I just remember the things that I got attached to when I was a kid. There were so many things. I was so possessive of my things too because I didn't have any boundaries, right? And because a lot of times I would find my things gone or destroyed or claimed that I became very, oh, don't touch my stuff, don't touch my stuff. And it was a trait that I barely noticed. It was only brought to my attention by people who decided to bring it to my attention, and I went, oh my goodness, I do that. But I've been doing that all my life too, right? That's a little bit comes from our childhood. We pick up stuff along the way. Sometimes they're big things, and those are the things we should concentrate and work on. Sometimes they're just little things, and those like that, we go, oh, that can just sit on the shelf, and when we get to it, we'll get to it until it truly trips us up in our life. And that's always a possibility because we have no idea. Some things, they just seem so minor, right? To other people, they're just like nothing. And then to some people, it's just like the scariest thing ever, right? And it's all relevant. It's just that different, right? Right, we all have different levels of tolerances in all kinds of different categories. 100% in that way. You'd never get me on a swinging trapeze or anything like that. I would just faint and hit the concrete, right? That's just not something I would be capable of. Job interviews. That's another one. I just come to realize in my lessons something that would always happen to me in my younger years when I was applying for work. And after a while, you build a little bit of resilience, you get good at what you do, right? But when I first started out in job interviews, I always felt that judgment when I walked in the door and stuff. And I had gotten these twitches in my lip, and my eyelids would flutter, and I never thought anybody noticed because when it would happen, I would put my head down and stuff, right, until it would go away because it would only last for a few seconds and then it would just go away. But I didn't know. I knew it was a nervous trait because it only happened when I went in for job interviews. But I came across an article lately specifically on that one thing, and they said it's your emotion has come to its very limit. Like, don't push it, don't load anymore on, right? It's like you're on the on empty, but on the extreme because right, it's giving you a warning and you have no idea because those are the places that we avoid in our life. We don't allow ourselves to get to those points, but sometimes out of necessity, like putting a roof over your head, getting the job, right? We put ourselves in those situations that we normally would just, right, avoid. But, and for somebody else, that's nothing. You go, really? Right? Like my sister, she would stand in an hour at the telethons to get all these movie stars and all these singers and bands and stuff, all their autographs and stuff. I remember standing in line with my sister Tracy one time for Dan Aykroyd, the guy from Ghostbusters, right? And he had his wine going on, and he looks at me and says, "Oh, do you want an autograph and a picture taken?" And I went, no, right? It even took me a year to come in front of the camera here. We're all different. Sometimes we build up that resilience and that confidence. Sometimes it hits us like a ton of bricks, and you either get some help into resolving that, do a little bit of shadow work, or right, you live with that, right? I would much rather make that movement, and that's what I've been doing, and it's probably why I'm still kicking around here. So, okay, Cindy, couple of minutes, go into the cards. First card that we pull, we're just going to go into it. First perspective. I hope everybody's having an amazing night or amazing day if you're just starting it. And the card we got today, oh my goodness, exactly the card that was for today. It says progress. Here, I'll just put it here. Progress is just putting one foot in front of another in what we are trying to accomplish. And that's progress, right? Just putting one foot in front of another. I've been sitting here working on my video. It's going to be up on Wednesday. So, you guys, if you want to come in on Wednesday and check out my third installment of my 4 provincial parks that I did on my entire Ontario Provincial Park Tour that I do every single year in the fall. Yeah, it's going to be go up. I don't know how long it's going to be. Maybe an hour and a half, maybe about the same as the last one. But I'm going to try and trim it down. If I can get it all tidied up and in the program in a rough cut, I'm good with that. I can put the fonts and the graphics and right and the music in the right place and the end cards and everything. I'll get it all done. That'll be my job tomorrow, and I'll be able to do it in little installments without that pressure on me because, right, if I have to unload it at that state, I can unload it at that or upload it. Okay, progress is just putting one foot in front of another in what we are trying to accomplish, and that's what I've been doing all week, just putting one foot in front of another. If I need it, I want it, I'm just going to give it to myself. But this is what we need to get done this week. Hack away at it the best that you can. I've gotten some great membership or mentorship in the past, and I understand that I have to be proud of my effort. I was in here 15 minutes late today, but, the first thing that came to my mind is that was not my intent. I thought rendering my video would be a lot faster than that, and I can't cancel it once it started because, that rendering just takes a long time. So I just waited the whole thing out. I didn't want to damage my content in any way, seeing I put so much work into it today. And I said 15 minutes is okay. And 15 minutes later, I was in here and I said, I'm proud of the effort because, a lot of people would have been on the couch with the remote control. I know I felt that way. And I don't even have a TV, but I would have found something else to do to entertain myself, to keep myself busy in what I didn't want to do in my procrastination. Okay, you guys, progress. Just put one foot in front of another. That's perfect. Okay, you guys, have a great night. We'll see.